Bridgett, streaming live on News 6 Plus. ClickOrlando.com and our YouTube channel. I'm Bridgett Ellison. It's good to be with you. We have some more fog with us on this hump day. A little bit different story, weather story. So we'll check in with Chief Meteorologist Candace Campos in a moment. We'll also talk to a mountain climbing doctor. He is a local oncologist and he's inspiring others to get results for their health and challenge themselves and keep going, as well as fighting cancer. So we'll hear more from him in a little bit and looking forward to that inspirational moment. But first, getting you ready to get out the door, making sure you're safe. Chief Meteorologist Candace Campos is in the Pinpoint Weather Center, and we talked about this fog again this morning. Candace, is a little bit different weather story this morning.
Right. So it's all sea fog. Remember, we talked about that a lot yesterday on how we have cold ocean waters on both the Atlantic and in the Gulf. And then we're now adding to it on top of that, the breeze, the warm, tropical, humid air in place. So what ends up happening is that cold ocean starts cooling the air, and that air then cools and condenses. And it's that condensation that creates that fog. And which is why today, for instance, we're really starting to see a lot of that fog really focused primarily along our coastal communities today, not as widespread as it was just yesterday. So let's take you to the maps and show you what's going on. We do a dense fog advisory. Earlier this morning, we had the advisory that stretched inland into Seminole and Orange County. At this point in time, they have discontinued that, but keeping the dense fog advisory in effect for Volusia, all of Brevard. Mind you, Volusia is just coastal Volusia County, all of Sumter, as well as central and western Marion County. So notice that the dark gray highlights both coasts, and that is because of that sea fog. Now, we are starting to see areas improve while others are still kind of stuck with very limited visibility. Right now, Ocala, we're starting to see some of that fog kind of retreating back out into the ocean. So that's certainly some good news. But there in Cape Canaveral through Cocoa Beach, Melbourne, we're seeing a lot of it. I do want to show you right now, this is our Port Canaveral camera. Let me just jump to that. We are looking at that kind of haze out there in the sky. So conditions are much better than they were yesterday when we were talking here on Breakfast with Bridgett. So even the areas with fog are not seeing the issues as bad. This is Daytona Beach. How beautiful, Bridgett, is that live look right
Wow.
now? Water
So
looks like,
peaceful.
funny because what we were talking during the show and Steve's mentioned, he goes, I haven't even thought about the beach yet. And it sounds like a great idea. And it is certainly a great idea if you have the opportunity to enjoy the beaches this weekend. The weather is really going to cooperate. And then this is a live look from Mount Dora. Just kind of giving you a little tour because yesterday at this time we couldn't see that little red and white lighthouse at all. My goodness, we couldn't even see the little dock there. So we are seeing conditions improving. The only problem is that areas are still dealing with some of that fog. So this is what we need to expect over the next couple of days. We have another foggy morning tomorrow morning. Again, not as widespread. We are seeing conditions improve. And then for the next few afternoons, it's all about these 80s. So I'll just take you here hour by hour. Our average high for this time of the year is 73. We're going to be about 10 degrees warmer than that at 83 in Orlando, upper 70s along the coastline. So this is the visibility tracker. The latest models do show a little bit of that fog you see about 3 a.m. starting to develop along the coast. Doesn't track too far inland tomorrow, so there will possibly be another round of dense fog advisories, but not so much for all of Central Florida, but once again for coastal communities. Lows tonight, we're in those low to mid 50s this morning. Same story for tomorrow, and then it's nothing but 80s in our future as we head into the middle part of next week. Now, I do want to show you here past 7 days. We're talking as far as about February 15th. That's 10 days out. We are looking at much warmer air. I do put the little Valentine's logo there on the top of the screen, so it kind of reminds you, I mean, when we talk about 10 days out, that does move into the middle of February. So it looks like we could have a pretty warm Valentine's Day. Hot and steamy for Valentine. I can only say that on News 6 Plus. I won't say that on TV. But anyway, as we get results here, their full 7-day forecast. Rain chances do come back a little bit come Monday and Tuesday. We're watching a cold front that will kind of turn stationary. How much of that will come the way of rain, we'll have to wait and see. But things are going to stay warm. They're going to stay steamy as we head into Valentine's Day.
Wow. Well, it's
Hmm.
definitely hot. I love that beach shot. That was so nice. I don't think I've seen the
What?
water that calm in a long time.
Yeah, here we could take it back to that. Yeah, no, the Daytona Beach camera. It just looks beautiful. Look at that. Oh,
Wow. But that's the
and
same
interesting.
reason why the fog wasn't moving around as much. That calm air and
And
calm
that's the
waters.
thing. Have like no breeze in place. The moment you get a breeze in place, Bridget, the air mixes around. It's just
Mm-hmm.
much easier. I don't know if you can see it
Beautiful.
there on the bottom of the screen. There was all the birds just sitting right on the.
I see people
They're like
walking
right
and.
on the edge of where the waves are hitting.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, I
They
see
they just
them.
you see them. They keep
Oh,
moving
they're
forward.
enjoying it. Oh, you know what? They're grabbing those little tiny clam things that come up out of the
Oh
sand.
yeah, 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 yeah.
What are those
So
things
if you
called?
have the opportunity to enjoy the beach, this might be the most perfect beach forecast of the year for the weekend we've seen because it's going to be the breeze is light. We will have a little bit of fog, but those are for the very early risers. But for the day, the weather should be fantastic. UV
Mm-hmm.
index because it's still February isn't extremely high, so kind of moderate. And then at the end of the day, you're not going in the water anyway because water temperatures right now are in the mid 50s. So not not doing that. That's more of a
Okay.
polar plunge for me.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Well, looking good. Thanks, Candace.
You're welcome.
Won't complain. All right, let's check in with Steve and our traffic, and he's got some stream plans lined up today. Good morning.
Good morning. Yeah, today's cool because I've been trying to do this one. Excuse
Yeah.
me, trying to do this one for a while here. A location called Decision Tactical, and it's located up in Sanford. It is an immersive firearms experience. Now, before anyone's like, "Whoa, whoa, whoa," it is 100% virtual. But the technology is what I am interested in. They during the daytime, early hours of the day, they are considered a law enforcement training facility, and then come the afternoon, it is like the coolest Dave and Buster's you've ever been to, or Top Golf for guns kind of thing. And it is considered, or what they like to consider, family friendly. They have a scratch kitchen, they have halls, they have a full bar, but this also that goes into this location is pretty amazing. So some people would say, well, you're mixing alcohol and firearms. No, this is basically like a high-end laser tag. It used to be where an old movie theater was. So each area has been designed to be a specific scenario. It's really, really fun stuff. I definitely enjoy it. It's definitely my cup of tea. So I want to expose this to the community so that they could see it and maybe check it out. So that's going to be at a
Mm-hmm.
special time today, 11 a.m. And I'm going to be joined by some of the staff there. And I tell you, they have experience. Some are former IDF soldiers from Israel. It's just absolutely amazing. So that's 11 o'clock today at clickorlando.com,
Cool.
YouTube, and all
Mm-hmm.
that fun stuff.
All right. How's it looking on the
And then
roads?
yeah, not too bad when it comes to crashes, but I wanted to start out with that fog that the Chiefs been pinpointing this morning. So I pulled up a DOT cam here. This is going to be George King Boulevard, basically Cape Canaveral. I'll actually blow that camera shot up for you a little bit. You can see that is dense out there. So that's 528. That's the furthest east 528 goes before it turns into A1A. Nice and clear, no crash. Oh, clear is not the right word to use. No crashes. Your roadways are functioning properly with things looking pretty decent this morning. As we move on a little further north outside Oak Hill, you can see 237. So we're about 20 miles north of where we just were, and that fog still out there. So be cautious this morning. This is the crash I've been watching. It's slowing people down. It's listed as a serious crash, Poinciana Boulevard. Near 1792 Orange Blossom Trail. This is north of Poinciana High School, west of Pleasant Hill, but I even mentioned it in the cut-in just a second ago. Even with a crash there, Pleasant Hill is still more backed up than Poinciana Boulevard is. So just take it nice and easy, please. There is roadblock reported there, just south of the railroad tracks. 28 minutes if you're coming in from Sanford to downtown Orlando westbound on I-4, and then 24 from Osceola Parkway, which is really nice. Kirkman Road, north and southbound, all clear. I picked up some delays earlier off of Wekiva, but it looks like that cleared up. And then we come down here outside the school zone off of Conroy Windermere and Apopka Vineland. You can see some southbound delay there in yellow. And then the airport looking pretty good. I was really surprised, Bridgett, with the weather this morning and yesterday that we did not have as many crashes that we normally do. I expected kind of a pop this morning, but it just shows
Mm-hmm.
you how random traffic can really
Mm-hmm.
be here in Central Florida.
All right. Well, we're looking forward to 11 o'clock today.
Yeah, 11 o'clock. I'm not sure. I sent Kathleen a photo, the producer for, was she able to get that photo in, or would I send it
She
too late?
says no.
Okay, that's fine. Maybe we'll do it tomorrow, and I'll talk
Yeah.
about what I wanted to talk
Recap.
about tomorrow. That's on me, so I sent it
Okay.
in too late. So
All right. We'll recap it.
we'll talk later.
Let's see you then. All right.
Oh, what do you? But I'm sorry. We'll talk about it tomorrow.
What?
I wasn't sure if you were saying to recap what I wanted to talk about, or that I'll
Oh,
talk to you
yeah.
tomorrow.
So we'll get the recap and pictures and everything with you tomorrow. You can tell us how it was. But we'll see you
Okay,
at 11.
perfect. Sounds
We'll
good.
see you live at 11 today.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. Yes.
All right.
Bye.
Bye. All right, we do want to get a quick check of your headlines too, an update on the Pulse Memorial design. We've been telling you about the advisory committee that finally signed off on some designs for the memorial and sent those to City Council. There is still some debate about what to do with some remnants of the club, and News 6's Mark Lehman has more on that.
I hope, but I do believe that they're going to be just as excited about this as we are.
In their final meeting last night, the Pulse Memorial Advisory Committee narrowed down their design for the site to honor the victims and survivors of the 2016 massacre.
Obviously, this took years to get to where we're at today, and realistically, this was months of meetings, a lot of feedback.
Among the final recommendations are columns and flags representing the countries where the victims were from, a reflecting pool positioned where the dance floor was, and a welcome center.
I am really excited about the improvements. I think they took lighting into consideration. I think they took the families into consideration.
Committee member Nancy Rosado says the common goal is to pay respect to the lives lost. And while there were disagreements over some aspects, she hopes the final design will provide some closure.
Or bringing it as close to a close as we can, that we will have shown the respect to those who passed, to those who survived, and to their families.
So we're looking forward to more updates on what that will finally look like as those plans move forward. Also this morning, and news of an arrest here, some interesting details surrounding the arrest of Marcus Jordan, who is actually NBA Hall of Famer Michael Jordan's son. He has ties to Central Florida, but he was arrested in Maitland on Monday evening, and there's been some body camera video released showing him resisting arrest, name dropping his dad's name, and now he's arrested for drug possession. So News 6's Angie Casada has more on the chain of events and what happened.
Maitland police say Marcus Jordan's blue Lamborghini SUV was found stuck on the Sunrail tracks around 1 a.m. Tuesday, just minutes before a scheduled train was expected to pass through. Officers say they smelled alcohol coming from the car and noticed his eyes were red and glassy. According to the arrest report, Jordan refused a breathalyzer test and questioned why he was being treated, in his words, like a criminal.
Bro, I'm Marcus Jordan. I'm Michael Jordan's son. I'm not doing anything wrong.
But officers say they found a small baggie of white powder in his pants pocket, later testing positive for cocaine. Before ending up in Maitland, authorities say Jordan first fled from Seminole County deputies after they tried to pull him over for reckless driving. According to the report, Jordan told police he had been at Rachel's Gentlemen's Club in Castleberry earlier that night.
All right, so we are following updates on that as they become available. Big news for Duke Energy customers. There's a rate hike that's about to go into effect, and Duke says it's because of covering the costs of hurricanes over the past 2 years in the state, and that it's needed to cover billions of dollars that was needed for that. So if you use 1,000 kilowatt hours per month, your bill will go up by about $31. Because of cost reductions in other areas, Duke says the increase will be closer to $21 a month, but the new charges will take effect in March, and that's adding to base increases that kicked in already last month. So not happy to hear that, but that's what's happening with the power there. Now, we do want to tell you about a great inspirational thing coming up. We're going to take a quick break, and then we'll be back with a live interview with Dr. Ashish Dalal. He's an oncologist at Health First Cancer Institute, and he's been on some amazing adventures and has some inspirational words for you coming up next. Welcome back. We have something special for you this morning. We like to talk about getting results for your health, and we oftentimes talk about studies and we talk about different types of awareness every month. And this morning, Dr. Ashish Dalal is with us. He's an oncologist at Health First Cancer Institute, and it's great to have you with us, Dr. Dalal. Good morning.
Good morning. I'm really excited to be here discussing health and fitness.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you for having me.
Yes, and we appreciate your time. And as an oncologist, you see people who are really, going through a lot, and you have been able to, in your spare time, go on some really inspirational adventures. We learned about your climb to Mount Kilimanjaro, which is the highest peak in Africa, and recently you traveled to Mount Everest when you traveled to Nepal. What have these experiences taught you, and what inspired you to get started with things like this? I'd imagine that it was very taxing.
Yes, so it was basically a very casual talk initially with one of my friends who is an avid athlete himself. And he said, "Hey, I'm going to Kilimanjaro with a group from England, and they have a vacancy. Are you interested?" I'm like, "Sure, I'm interested." I always have been very active with sports. I play tennis regularly and I run, but I have never done a major hike like this. So I enrolled with these guys, and then it was the most amazing adventure going to Tanzania, flying to Africa, Tanzania, and then uh, did the 7 day Kilimanjaro hike, the summit night, which is the night where you basically start at midnight and try to reach in the morning after a very steep, a cold, harsh hike. And it's extremely steep and taxing, but you're with your group and you're with a guide, and so I was able to make it. And then coming down is a whole different.
Ooh.
It's very steep to come down. Also, there's a lot of gravel, so come down
Were there
slowly.
moments where you were
That was
scared?
an amazing experience. I got the confidence of able to summit 19,500 feet, which is Mount Kilimanjaro's height. With that confidence, then when I came back, we discussed, me and my friends, that we should maybe do a hike to Everest Base Camp. If you Google, it is one of the most challenging and one of the most famous hikes of the world.
Mm.
Going to Everest Base Camp. This is not summiting the mountain; it is going to the base camp itself, which is about 18,000 feet high. And so we decided to enroll into that. For that, we had to have special training. We I started, running longer distances. Started putting on weights in the gym at my home. I don't really go to a gym. I have elliptical and weights at home, and I just started regularly using that as trying to improve my fitness.
How much weight
And
did
then
you
what you
add
see
to
right now is the
train?
Chola Pass. This is a glacier. That's me, and that's my partner, Mr. Vaishnav. It's a steep glacier that you have to go up, and this is at altitude of 18,500 feet. So the altitude is something you cannot train for. You can train for being very fit, but you cannot train for being for the altitude. And it's a matter of luck that sometimes the altitude gets you.
Mm.
If you can withstand 19,000 feet, then you're good to go. Then that's what happened. So yeah, very excited to do these two hikes.
What's next?
So we have already decided to go to Grand Canyon from one rim to the other rim, north to south rim. That's going to happen in October. We are thinking of going to Mount Whitney, which is the tallest mountain in the 48 states. We have to enroll into it. We have to apply for lottery because only a limited number of people can go. And after that, we are thinking of some other mountains of the world which are non-technical, but challenging. So yeah, we have I have a good friends, a team of good friends, and we have a WhatsApp group, and we basically communicate through and make plans through the WhatsApp.
What would be your advice to people who want to set a goal to do something like this? Where can they start, or what would be a good starting point or location to, start training and then maybe go
So
and try to do something like that?
yeah, so first of all, they have to be active. They have to be, quite fit. They have to start working out in the gym or at home, doing the elliptical, running on a treadmill or walking with weights. And then they have to, they have to have the motivation to withstand the harshness of these hikes. Because mind you, the in Kilimanjaro when we went, we stayed in tents. We had to stay in tents. They would tent for us, and there's no showers, and it's very cold and very harsh. They did provide us with decent food. Everest Base Camp is very very cold, and it's longer. It's 2 weeks. So again, 2 weeks of no showers, no running water, extreme cold, sleeping in very very cold. If you can withstand those things, and if those things are not that important, then I can guarantee you will have the best uh, time of your life, the best views you can ever imagine. Stunning, astonishing, jaw-dropping is what I would call it. These views are of these mountains, and Everest Base Camp, especially surrounded by some of the tallest peaks of the world, and you're just in the middle, just hiking through these mountains. So yeah, that's what I recommend. Like if somebody's interested, they should. And I also recommend they should maybe do some mountains in Colorado, which are the 14,000ers. Me and my son and another group went to Pikes Peak. We did Pikes Peak, which is in Colorado, one of the challenging mountains. It's a 14,200 feet high mountain. So I would recommend before you enroll into Everest Base Camp or a Kilimanjaro like hike, which is multi-day hike, to do these hikes, which are like 1 or 2 days.
Hmm. How have these extreme adventures like changed you or inspired you and helped you to help others?
So yeah, you when you go there, both Africa and Nepal, they're amazing places. Tanzania, you get to see these people who are so they just want to help. Our guides, the Sherpas, the people who the support team was so humble, so helpful, and I learned, like the nature of being humble is so important. And then I try to bring that. Also the Sherpas in Nepal, they're just amazing. They carry probably 2 to 3 times their body weight every time. And
Mm.
anyway, so I try to bring that humbleness and the empathy, and then it helps me become more empathetic with my patients who are suffering from
Mm.
cancer.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I would say. It was just and also one more thing,
Mm-hmm.
Nepal, when you hike through these mountains, you pass through these monasteries, Buddhist monasteries, and these praying stones. So it is highly spiritual, and I
Mm-hmm.
also got that aspect, the spiritual aspect, from the Everest base camp.
Mm-hmm. And as an oncologist, like you said, you see people going through some tough times, but I know you also see lots of victories and people able to overcome. And so, what have been some of those key pieces of advice that you are giving people now in preventing cancer and fighting cancer and lowering their risk, because we're seeing now more and more numbers of younger people being diagnosed, and there's so much to keep in mind today.
Yeah, so that is a thing that we see, and now we're seeing cancer in younger patients. It could be that they are getting screened earlier. It could also be, I think, processed foods that they consume. It could be lack of fresh fruit and vegetables in their diet. And then we don't know. It's just happening. More and more young patients are getting cancer. There are some preventable things that they can do, though. I would highly recommend absolutely no smoking.
Mm-hmm.
I would ask them to cut down on their drinking, because a lot of patients or people think they're not drinking enough, but in casual drinking can cause cancer now.
Mm-hmm.
So the new recommendations are to try to curtail drinking as much as possible. Only do the social drinking rarely at events and not like a regular intake. That's a
Mm-hmm.
big. Uh, uh, it would help reduce the incidence of cancer by doing that. Another thing that helps is reducing your BMI, which is increase exercise and try to stay fit. Those things are linked directly with longevity and lower rates of cancer. Diet, another big thing. I would recommend eat more fresh fruit, vegetables, and the so-called the lean meat, and consume less red meat. Those are important things. Another great thing, which is a must, I recommend, is screening. There are screenings available for breast cancer, lung cancer, prostate cancer, cervical cancer, and colon cancer. So these are I would recommend patients to go through their screenings to catch any early cancer if there is one that's going to happen. So
Yes, it's and it's all about that discipline and practice of doing what many people know what they need to do, and some people need more education on what to do, but definitely lots of discipline and practice there as well. So, Dr. Dalal, thank you so much for sharing your stories with us, and we appreciate your time.
thank you. It was great experience, and thank you very much for having me. One thing I want to mention before I go is I juggle.
Oh,
I like
yes.
juggling.
Uh-huh.
And so when I went to Chola Pass, which is 18,500 feet, there's a
Yes.
video of this.
I think we
I
have
wanted
it.
to test my brain function. I wanted to know if I can juggle. And I
Yes.
was able to do that. And it
Here it
was
is.
an immense thing that a feeling of achievement that I could do it. That's the Everest Base Camp, the iconic rock where most people do. That's my juggling. Thank
Yes.
you so much.
Yes. Well, that is certainly, there it is. Such an inspiration. Dr. Dalal, we appreciate everything you do here in the community, and this is so awesome. So thanks for sharing some of that with us this morning.
Thank you so much.
All right. Take care.
Bye-bye. Take care. You too.
Bye. And that's going to do it for us. We'll see you back at noon. Take care.